Dear everyone, good morning. Just about to start this Bytes of Impact, take control of your inventory with an order management system. So first of all, I'd like to say thank you for signing up today. Today I'll be taking you through the world of a distributed order management system, also known as OMS or order management system, what it is, and how it enables you to, as a company, to tap into your customers' needs and experience. I'll be talking about how we approach order management selections and implementations here at Impact, and I'll share some customer success stories from Ganni and Hi-Fi Klubben. Both of them have had very different needs and requirements from their order management system. And without further ado, I'll just do a quick introduction to myself and Impact and what we do and why we are here and why we love unified commerce. So my name is Anders Videndal. I am a senior solution consultant here at Impact. I have 7 years of experience within e-commerce and retail. I have hands-on experience from my previous jobs at Pandora and IC Group. And I've been working with both B2C and B2B implementations. And recently, before moving here to Impact, starting with Impact, I contributed to a large order management system and distributed order management implementation in Pandora. And before that, I owned the order management capabilities and integrations with the IC Group. So, and here at Impact, I've run RFPs for OMS vendor selections, and I continue to support our customers and colleagues on inquiries related to order management systems. And personally, I'm very passionate about building future-proof technology, and that creates seamless customer experience and helps business stay relevant to their customers. All right, so quickly about Impact. We were established in 1998 in Aarhus, and since then our company has grown steadily with offices in Copenhagen and Lisbon. Our team of more than 200 consultants, digital marketing specialists, strategic advisors, designers, developers, we all look at the insights and look into the future of digital commerce, and we're very excited about this. So our 3 areas, we combine business, technology, and experience, and as you can see here, we sort of cover the entire spectrum of commerce. We are fond believers of digital commerce. We believe in people and we believe in results, and as a result, that is what creates impact and our love for that for customers. Our industry focus. So here at Impact, we have a broad commerce focus. We're engaged with customers across different verticals, different industries, different business models, and we draw on experience from all of this. We of course acknowledge that B2B and B2C are different disciplines, but as customers become more and more accustomed to digital and the way users and consumers interact with digital platforms, these things become more and more aligned. And as a result, we combine the best of both worlds to support our customers on a daily basis and their customers. All right, a brief introduction to today's agenda. I'll be giving you a short introduction to what is an order management system. We'll talk about order management systems as an enabler for your business. So about cases, Ganni and Hi-Fi Klubben. And then I'll give you a quick sum up with some recommendations for implementations of OMS and some best practices. And finally, there'll be a short Q&A session where you can ask any questions that you might have come across during this webinar. All right, so a quick introduction to the order management system. What is it? So an order management system is basically a flexible solution made for managing, selling, and fulfilling orders from any sales channel. An OMS provides the basis for seamless customer experiences, cost reductions, and basically accelerates your time to market while reducing the impact and dependencies towards master systems, for example, your ERP system. So the way we see it is that the OMS will in the future commerce solutions play an integral role in the journey towards becoming a unified commerce player. And I'll be talking a bit more about that later on. but we definitely see the OMS as something that will allow you to adopt new channels at a very fast pace. So, like I said, today's webinar will focus on how to take full advantage of your inventory and how this is the key step towards a seamless experience for your customers. Basically, being in control of your inventory is what will enable you to deliver that promise to customers. And as I stated here, your customer's journey starts with the channel where you first meet them, and being able to fill their needs within that channel is what I believe separates you from your competitors. So that could be on your e-commerce site, it could be in store, it can be on Google Shopping, Facebook Shopping, and now Instagram Shopping, just to mention a few examples. Right. So here I just want to show you an example and set the scene. I'm going to show you an example here of Hugo Boss, who have implemented OMS, and they have some great capabilities, but they haven't really thought the entire process through. So they haven't thought about what is the entire experience for me as a customer. And I'm just going to set the scene. I'm going to a party later today, and I want to find a t-shirt, which I have seen on Instagram. And I was hoping that I could, I was browsing for some inspiration on the summer's trends, and it seems like palm trees are the thing this year. I'm a rather impatient consumer, and I prefer click and collect when shopping with my favorite brands. And as a result, commerce solutions showing store inventory online is a key selling point for me. So I'll just be showing here. So basically here I am browsing for t-shirts, and I will see if I can find this store, Disponible Magasin. It's find in store. I'll choose the color, I'll choose my size, and I'll choose my residency, which is today Paris, France. I'll see which store has it. Now, what it translates to here is I've actually found the store. It's the Hugo Boss store on Champs-Élysées. I found my size medium, and it's available. But then they asked me to call the store for a reservation and actually call the store to check if it's available. Now, to me, that's not quite what I was hoping for. Right here, I wanted to reserve the product and do a click and collect. So the way I see it, they're definitely missing some on the customer experience, and they're actually not keeping their customer promise. So instead, then buying here, I would probably check on Amazon. I know in Paris, it's possible to get 1 hour delivery. So I would probably go somewhere else and browse for this, so that I'm sure I can get it fast and easy. So that's just setting the scene for OMS on Hugo Boss. They have thought through, they have some capabilities, but they haven't thought the entire process through. All right, so now I'm going to talk about the order management system as an enabler for your business. And I think Hugo Boss was an example, and I'll try and elaborate on what I see as being important. So mistakenly, a lot of people see order management systems as something that happens after the buy button. I often hear colleagues talk about this is where you generate loyalty and afterwards, after you actually purchased an item. But here at Impact, we actually believe that it supports the entire customer journey. And some examples for awareness. Basically, what the OMS allows you to do is deliver an inventory feed to your marketing channels, to ensure that you can promote what can actually be bought in store or online. So an example could be Google Shopping, Instagram, and Facebook that can receive product feeds and require, and also inventory feeds. So you're basically making sure that the awareness that you create is based on items that can actually be purchased. Consideration: ensuring your customers via email, SMS, social media that items are available. Again, you can deliver recommendations via your recommendation engines with the right inventory. So basically, again, showing products which are actually available. The purchase is, of course, buying online, buying in store, could be marketplace and dropship. I'll get back to what those are, but supporting the purchase in any channel. For service, we think about the OMS as supporting the post-purchase. So basically, it will tell you who, what, when, and where the order is, and what is its current status. And for loyalty, if you can provide a full overview of your customers' purchases, you're basically able to offer a better service to your customers the next time they stop by your shop. That could be both online, in store, or wherever they decide to buy with you. And basically, again, saying you're able to send follow-up marketing with a consolidated view of your customer's order history. And again, saying this customer bought a t-shirt and a tie, and a blazer in store, and he bought shoes online. You'll have a full overview with your OMS system. Right, so in this case, I'll like to zoom in on how OMS supports the purchase and the service phases of the customer journeys. As we see, these are the main areas for today's webinar, as they are tied to inventory. So how does the purchase scenarios, how are these supported by an order management system? We have the classic buy online, pick up in store, click and collect, reserve and collect, all tied to this. There's the buy online, return in store, browse in store on mobile, and buy online. This is becoming a very common scenario for customers. I browse the store, I find the sizes that I need, I try on different items, I have the consideration, and I buy. So here the customer can buy both, the customer's journey can both begin and end in your store, because they actually have, with the OMS, you'll have the same inventory online as in store. And I'll come back to those offerings on the next slide, which is the order handling scenarios. Final one here, buy in store, ship to home, also known as endless aisle. You're basically leveraging your online inventory, your e-commerce inventory, your warehouse, and you're able to fulfill the orders in store. We have seen great success with this for some of our customers, and it's something that I have done installations for, both in Pandora and in IC Group. We saw a tremendous uplift in store, because you're basically able to close the store, the sale in store, rather than sending your customer away to one of your other stores in town, or calling for inventory and having it shipped to your store and fulfilling the customers' needs there. Alternatively, and probably the worst scenario, is you send your customer out the door, or even down to a competitor. So what are some of the order handling scenarios that are supported by an order management system? Ship from store is probably the most famous one, most known. Ship from store basically means that you're fulfilling your online orders out of your stores. And we've seen examples of this during Corona times, where the store staff of the stores basically were fulfilling the online stores, online orders out of stores, and taking full advantage of that. And an order management system is an enabler for that capability. Dropship allows you to connect your store with suppliers and inventory. And basically what that means is you avoid inventory sitting in your warehouse with the additional costs. So here you can sell directly from your suppliers, and they will take care of the freight and the order handling. But you will have full overview within your order management system. So you still keep the close contact with your customers as they purchase through you. One of our customers, Imerco, have actually enabled dropship with TrueCommerce through their OMS, and it basically meant that they could expand their category to a larger extent without having to uphold the costs for inventory. Split orders is the capability to of course split your order, so you can fulfill out of your store if you offer ship from store, and you can send orders and ship orders out of your normal warehouse. And finally, store inventory online, which was the example of Hugo Boss, is where you can drive customer traffic down to your stores. We know that has a great chance of uplift. We know that when people come into the store, they are much likely to buy a lot more. And it also gives you incentive for customers to actually come visit your stores when they can see that what they're looking for is available in store. So how is customer service supported by a distributed order management system? So Order on Behalf allows customer service to take care of the customer basket, take over the customer basket and support the finalization of purchase. And this basically leads us on to the cross-sell and upsell, which allows customer service to offer recommendations based on your current and previous baskets in both online and offline purchases. Order history will allow you to display a full overview for customer service and your customers on your e-commerce store, for example. You can see which orders been placed, returned, if any discounts were applied, and basically just give that insight if you want to. And that again takes us over to the returns, refunds, and exchanges. Having a full order history overview will allow customer service and store staff to handle returns and refunds right then and there. Doesn't matter if the customer is returning an item in store that they bought online or vice versa. There are different approaches to how you do that. And basically the integration to your payment provider will run through the OMS, and therefore you will be able to handle returns and refunds regardless of which channel you're selling in. Finally, the single customer view. There's no more looking up customers and their orders in different systems. You will be able to surface everything within the same system. Now, I want to note that it's not necessarily the order management system that has and is the system where you look up customer information or order information. It can pass on that information to your customer service. Could be Zendesk or Service Cloud. Right, so how do we get there? What is it that we need to do in order to provide these different purchasing scenarios and the order scenarios and customer service scenarios? Well, we need to move away from a multi-channel way of thinking to a unified commerce way of thinking. So very often e-commerce orders are handled in your e-commerce solution and or your ERP system. It's being passed from your commerce solution to your ERP. Your offline orders are created and stored in your POS systems. And very often wholesale and franchise stores are a story of their own. So basically you don't have an overview of your inventory in one system. All your inventory is distributed and allocated to each channel, meaning you have to send customers away to a different store. Call stores to retrieve the item, come back tomorrow, probably not going to happen. Or as I said, worst case, recommend a competitor. You're basically not seeing your customer purchases across channels. And although one way you could have solved this is by tying channels together in your business intelligence systems, but again, you need to tie an order to an identifier, which typically would be an email. So, and the final thing I would say is something to consider is think about when you're planning your inventory allocation, are you sure that you are getting the right sizes, colors, materials? Are you getting the right items for each store, both for your online store and your brick and mortar stores? Very often it can be tough to know what the demand is going to be in each store. And an order management system can support you in avoiding these hard questions. So as I said, we have multiple truths. We have inventory in our warehouse management system, our POS, our e-commerce, and from third-party suppliers. So think about this, right? What are the costs related to handling inventory in each of these channels and systems? How often do you reject or even let down a customer, either online or offline in your stores, because you don't have the item available to sell? How often do you do inventory cycle counts in each store in each of these systems? And how often do you get reports from your sellers and distributors or third-party suppliers? We feel that these are very often painful questions to ask yourself. However, if you have an order management system implemented, basically its job is to know the answer to those questions and take care of that for you. Of course, with the right data and architecture to support it. So now let's look at the order management system as a single source of truth for inventory. Very simply put, what the order management does is it ties all these together. and it enables you to pull and push inventory real time to all these systems. And basically, with this single inventory overview, you have a foundation which is set to deliver on customers' orders. And this is both relevant in a B2B and B2C commerce setup. So basically, once your inventory view is secured in one place, it is possible to start adopting the customer purchase scenarios like buy online, pick up in store, return in store, endless aisle. You can basically start adopting order handling scenarios, the ship from store, drop ship, and split order, and of course the view store inventory view online. So one important aspect of this is the integration to an OMS or DOM is the order process handling and how you define the fulfillment rules and the change management tied to this. That is a key aspect. It's not something I will dive into in this webinar, but those are very important things to keep in mind. So, like I said, within OMS, you're now able to start thinking about unified commerce and also importantly, the customer experience. You're able to service your own e-commerce platform. Your internal applications are tied to the OMS, customer service, Zendesk Service Cloud, your ERP, your WMS, and warehouse management systems all tied together to an OMS. And you will start having one picture of your inventory, and it basically allows you to sell across the board. Like I said, own operated stores is where you can now support click and collect. Marketplaces you can integrate with dropship or even use them as a fulfillment partner. So transitioning into some best practices for order management selections and implementations. So on order management strategy and predictions, we see that there are some considerations that are required for an order management implementations, and there's quite a lot of things that you need to take into consideration. Most importantly is that you, of course, identify your current pains in your order process. What happens both before and after the order is placed? How do we get customers to understand your customers' needs and desires for experiences, this instant gratification? You know, I want to buy it, I want to get it now. And of course, the follow-up service that drives loyalty. And based on these insights, you can identify how your organization needs to adapt via change management, process, and technology. And we see all three pillars are very important when looking at order management systems as a whole. So some of our predictions for 2020 is that we see that unified commerce is going to be a key strategic goal, and we see that consumers demand it. We see that stores, the brick and mortar stores, will become more likely to become like the online experience, with multiple data points and these seamless customer experiences. So when I walk into a store, you know, I want it to be more and more like showroom. I want to see customer get a great experience, and offering that will be at the forefront. And an OMS basically enables you to offer that experience, because you don't have to send your customers away or ask them to go online to buy items, buy your products. Applications. So we see that a lot of retail applications will run on cloud-based apps. And I feel convinced that this is because a lot of other industries are now adapting to it. I think great example is the Uber. If you have used that, it basically represents everything that customers want and expect. You know, it's convenient, it's instant gratification, it's a good experience. Have everything right then and there. So with Ganni and them using the mobile POS, we see that is the future. And we think that really both empowers and enables the store associates in their everyday work. Finally, we see that customer acquisition online becomes more and more expensive. You know, if your online presence as that matures, we know that moving to brick and mortar stores is a means to drive down acquisition costs. Basically, if you'll need to pay more and more to position yourself online, and that's matured. And I think even pure players are moving from online to offline. I think in Denmark, a great example of that is Shipping New Tomorrow, which moved from being pure online to opening up stores because they saw that that was a great way to drive more traffic. It's a lot cheaper to have people pass by your stores than paying Facebook and Google for ads. So with that said, I'll move on to some guiding principles for order management assessments, which is something that we here at Impact support. So one of the things to consider is, of course, consider time to market. Does the OMS meet your business requirements? And more importantly, does it meet your customers' expectations? What is it that is required for your business to enable your customers in stores and online, give them the service that they expect and want? Think about what the OMS, does it provide the ability to decouple systems to reduce dependencies on a single system? Maybe it's your ERP system today, maybe it's your e-commerce platform that handles everything tied to inventory and orders. And it should allow for scalability. You never know what's coming, so having that option is key within OMS. More importantly, with OMS, it enables you to do automation of your order processes, and by doing so, you basically minimize the intervention, you reduce risk, and you remove multiple errors when you can move into an automation of handling your orders. You should focus on an order management system that enables you to progress incrementally. So should offer flexibility and scalability for new services and features on the roadmap that you have for your business. We evaluate vendors who have a forward-looking architecture that match the future of your business and customers' expectations. So we want to make sure that we're looking at an order management system that fits with your architecture. And finally, we of course evaluate the costs and the ROI, and that should of course match your business case. And there are dozens of OMS systems out there, and we have done multiple assessments. I've done multiple assessments of those, and there's for sure one that will fit your business case, and that could be very well be an out-of-the-box best-of-breed system, or it could be building a custom implementation. Some best practices for implementations. We look at 6 areas, and we have adopted these from Gartner and how they see and their recommendations for best practices on OMS implementations. So first of all, the IT architecture. Remove features slowly in phases that are being handled by your current order handler. That could be your e-commerce or ERP. We always introduce new services in phases, and as such, a big bang release is of course not recommended. It's a very phased approach, and again, that leads us on to the deployment. We recommend you pilot the OMS. We then look at a fully functional scope of an MVP order management system. Could be just passing the order through. That's an MVP for some. And then we further, in step 3, we'll look at a full order management system rollout and all the change management around that as well. That leads me on to the resources. It's very important that we set a team which key focus is order management. Order management is complex, and it requires that you set a team with the right capabilities that match the project. So you need to understand that your business landscape changes over the course of such a project. Again, order management systems are implemented. Implementations can be anywhere to 3 months to a year, maybe even 2-3 years. And we understand, of course, that your business landscape changes. Let's say the Corona virus was a great example of business landscapes that change very rapidly. We look at scope. We always prioritize scope with a return on investment and minimal risk in mind. It's a risky thing, and it's a big thing to do order management systems. But we are, of course, here to support you. So the way we see it is that you as a business own the implementation, the decision making, but you should lean on partners for best practices, implementation efforts. And basically here at Impact, we're ready to give you advice on order management implementations, phases, and strategy. And of course, architecture. The final one is change management. Look at your key stakeholders. Who will be affected by these changes? It's the store staff. If you start doing ship from store, your store staff will have new routines in retail. And it's very important to understand that you need to ensure project buy-in across the organization. And with Impact, we have done this for multiple customers, and we ensure that we support that change management piece as well. Communicate on the project progress, how are you doing? And of course, getting stakeholder involvement and training is all tied to all the different stakeholders that are involved in order management system implementation. So finally, I will say order management systems, it's a tech implementation, but it's just as much about the change management aspect. And finally, it's about your customers. So always think from a customer perspective and think it through until the end. Like I said with Hugo Boss, they have gone maybe 90% of the way, but they haven't thought the last 10%. They're missing that last 10%. That was it for this webinar. We'll move on to Q&A. So if you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the Q&A box. All right, so I have a question here. Do you know any order management system which is great for a web shop who has 100+ suppliers delivering directly to our hub or the customer? Yes, one good one partner that we've worked with for Imerco, I didn't do that, didn't show it in this one, but we have actually implemented, helped implement something called TrueCommerce, which is which support EDI, and they have a large network of suppliers that can tap into their platform. So we actually very often, if you have a lot of suppliers, we recommend implementing TrueCommerce if that is a fit with your order management system, so that it can handle so you can basically onboard your suppliers very fast with very low costs, and TrueCommerce takes care of that for you. And basically that enables you to handle the order. You own the order in your OMS, but as I said, the freight and inventory costs are sitting with your suppliers. So I think that's probably my recommendation, would be to look at TrueCommerce, and we're very happy to take that conversation with you. I have another question. Should the business be integrated vertically? I would say so. I mean, order management, it taps into a lot of like I said, into a lot of stakeholders, and there's obviously an integration vertically, because you're talking to so many different departments. When it comes to an order management implementation, you need to understand what are the capabilities in retail. How do you want to do marketing recommendations, involve your media? You know, you'll be able to start servicing them with feeds, and basically how you go about that is very much tied to getting all your stakeholders aligned in the organization. So I think I didn't go into deep in this webinar, but change management and stakeholder management is a core component of an OMS implementation. All right, well, if you have any more questions or anything that you missed out or want to talk to me about, please feel free to send me an email or call me. And I'll just like to promote some of our other upcoming webinars: how to fuel data and marketing strategy with a CDP, which is a customer data platform. Very interesting. We have done multiple implementations of that. Of course, turning visitors into customers through the product page. And I think it's here in Danish, vind kampen om sidet på Google. So basically win the battle of page one for Google. So I hope you'll sign up for those. I want to say thank you for joining today. Thank you for participating, and hope to see you soon in one of our upcoming webinars. Thanks.